Welcome to the Patriots Lab, where we ain't even trying to, we make them liberals mad. Cause freedom of speech is what us individuals have. It's the gift when we gab, talking about things that the brainwashed cannot mentally grasp, like staying loud and waving our American flags. This is for the free thinkers, wearing their MAGA and wearing the cags. Draining the swamp is the ultimate goal, but the sheeple will swear it's a fad, like it's just a phrase. But when we show them the facts, the fools got nothing to say. And deep government state wanna get up in our face, but hasn't done it yet cause Trump's in the way, trying to protect us from a troublesome fate. And because of that, we'll never lose our faith, plus God keeping us cool and safe. But I still hope we get 4 more years so we can throw a huge parade. I can see it now, Patriots on a float, and POTUS will go down in history as one of the GOATs for making the swamp pay for taking every one of his votes. His enemies are the cancer, whether or not Trump give him the smoke. Now relax it back and take notes as we kick facts with the homie Ray though. Speak your mind in the Patriots Lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots Lab, where we ain't even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said speak your mind in the Patriots Lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots Lab, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said, speak your mind in the Patriots Lab. It's freedom time in the Patriots Lab, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. Speak your mind, it's freedom time. Without even trying to, we make them liberals mad.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good afternoon, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be. I've been having the hellish of a time with social media platforms past couple of days. They have been shutting me down, and I guess it's getting about to be that time where they are getting into full swing, but I'm trying to make sure all my platforms are up and running, so y'all bear with me before we get into the actual and factual of it all. We're gonna have a good show. Got a good one lined up for you guys and gals today, if y'all can just bear with your man here. Oh my goodness, if it ain't one thing, it's another, so we're gonna get into it. It's Wednesday. I hope everybody's been doing good past couple of days. Remember, drop your comments, like, share, subscribe. Smash that bell so you can get them instant notifications. But I guess the first thing we'll do is I know y'all seen it out there. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I still want to get myself situated here. But I figure we can start off with a little bit of this, because I know y'all have heard it. If you ain't heard it, I'm going to bring it to you, but I know y'all have heard it, so let's go ahead and get into it.
I want to go to LA.
Well, shout out Patriot J, Benny Johnson, Big Bongino, Alex Jones, free my dogs and lock up the radical left's gone crazy. I don't bail, I won't see inside a cell. Shout out Thugger, free my slime, slat, YSL. They tryna lock me up, but I'm plugged in ATL. Got homies doing life in jail, they living in hell. These DAs acting silly, my mugshot is worth a billy. So some merchant made a milli, shot McMillie out in Philly. Shot the baby, shot the Sosa, Benny Butcher, them my rollers. Called me racist, but these rappers riding with me, them my soldiers. Mega, I am not who they are after. I'm just in the way they want to get to you, but I won't let them. Cold-hearted, no, I'm artist, getting back to where I started. I don't need to do the race, I'ma beat them RICO charges. And if I go to prison, you can't do me like the Clintons. I'll be laid up, eating steak with Secret Service, chilling, screaming orange man bad, the whole world mad. Thug life, shout out all of my MAGA base shads. Coming for the deep state, I will stop the new world order. But before that, I'll finish walls at the border. YSL, slat, shout out Thugger. Finny got nothing on us.
So as you can see, 45 has a good track out. Hey, y'all already know that's that dude that do the 45 imitations. I really like that. But we're gonna get into it. We are going to get right into it. And I guess I'll get into my first video. Y'all make sure y'all drop your comments, like, share, subscribe. And also, if you do want to come into the lab, you already know what to do. drop your man a shout out. But we're going to get right into it. Let me see. Let's go back. We're going to go way back in the time. Just to bring you a little update about the type of person that we're dealing with. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I got it out here or not. Let me see. Alright, we'll do this. We'll stay with Trump for a minute. And we're going to go back and play.
We are back with presidential candidate Donald Trump, and let's bring in Mike Barnacle Sandstein and Michael Steele into the conversation. Just reading a Washington Post story about Ben Carson. I want to ask you about Dr. Carson, Donald, because a couple of times you've talked about hitting his mom in the head with a hammer and stabbing someone in negative light, meaning has it come so crazy that we're actually arguing that this happened as a good thing? He actually meant that these things happened in his life, and faith turned him around. Is it fair the way you're characterizing those two events? And how important is faith for someone who wants to lead a nation?
I think faith is very important. And, you know, I'm a Protestant, I'm a Presbyterian. And I think faith is very important. And, you know, I don't want to really get into it with Ben because I have a very good relationship. But he wrote a whole thing about, you know, with a hammer and going after his mother with a hammer and hitting people in the face with locks and things like that.
It was about finding his faith.
No, I know. But they're pretty severe. I never went after my mother with a hammer, that I can tell you. And
but I just wanted to show you. Y'all remember they used to love having Trump on there. And I don't care if it was for the ratings or whatever. No, they genuinely used to love Trump. They really did. And then it was like after he decided he was going to run for president, they decided they wanted to turn on him. I don't know why, but they decided they wanted to turn on him. Today's conversation, we're going to deal with a little bit of everything. You'll see the title. Joe Biden has more and more emails just mounting up. Come to find out, my man's up to 5,400. And this was back in time, before he was even president. And the National Archives, the Presidential Archives, the Historian Archives, why did they even, you know, want to acknowledge that these things existed? The downfall of Joe. That's all it could be, the downfall of Joe. But hey, I want to go back to memory lane. Let's see if we can if I got it in here. I don't know if I got it up here or not. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Here it goes. I got to see if I got that one up there. We're going to go back and see how long has Joe Biden been lying. Let's see if I got this one. I think I got it. Okay, here we go. This goes back to old Joe. And this just shows you what we're dealing with now.
Questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Joseph Biden.
Okay, so we see that Mr. Biden has a bad problem with being able to identify the truth from a lie. When you've been lying your whole life, I guess that would deem you an habitual liar. It would deem you an habitual liar. But it seems that the lies that Joe Biden has been able to tell over the years have finally started to come back and bite him in the ass. It seems that is what is taking place right now. Let me see here if I got another video. I think I got one. Because y'all remember this one. I'm gonna give you a flashback. This is some more incriminating evidence that he seems to think that we forgot about. But go ahead, roll the tape.
I was just thinking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look.
Okay. There's no kidding aside, Joe. There's no kidding aside. We know that you sold a lot of state secrets. We know you sold a lot of the government secrets, Joe. We know. We know, Joe. We now know that you shuttled your son Hunter Biden around on Air Force 2 and Helicopter 2 to all these locations that for some reason I can't figure out today what purpose he served. So you still want us to believe that your son, Hunter Biden, a crackhead, with no energy experience and no bilingual language skills, all of a sudden, when you was vice president in charge of what's going on over there in Ukraine, he becomes a board member making $83,000 a month, knowing nothing. And now we got the emails to corroborate the communications that you had. I really don't understand why we are still going around this carousel, or merry-go-round, whatever you want to call it. Why are we still going around on it? McCarthy, you need to step up and do something. Okay, they're going to start impeachment inquiries. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And I have somewhat faith in that scenario. I would rather the Republicans cross their T's, dot their I's, because they're not going to have to go through 2 impeachments. See, how many impeachments did they have to take Trump through? And still didn't get nothing on my man. This is why he's dealing with what he's dealing with now. They're only going to need 1 shot because the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. So, you know what? I'll give Comer and them their time that they need. Because I don't want to go through impeachment 1. They get off through some technicalities or some stuff, and then they got to go through impeachment 2. No. I understand that they want to get it right the first time. Because, see, we have to understand what they're doing. It's not for the benefit of the mainstream media. It's not for the benefit of nothing else but to finally show the American people the level to which these people will go to, the corruptness that they will go through to maintain and literally keep their power. That's what they'll do. I'm looking for something here, and I want to see if I can bring it up. I got it in here. Okay, here it is. There was a funny clip that I wanted to bring up. Oh, here it is. Y'all go ahead and check this out if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it. It's on my Twitter feed. Let me see.
On my way, Ollie. Listen, give me a Democratic Party. Scoot your ass to ninja.
Let me make sure I got it up there first. Okay, I got it up there. So y'all go ahead and check this out. Let me get it back. This is what I love to see.
It's for Trump to enter the chair. It's about to be a situation. Come here, petty ass. Move the hell out my way, Ollie. Listen, give me a Democratic Party. Scoot your ass to the front. Yeah, See, this problem is happening because of y'all. Yeah. We sick of this shit. The ninjas done jumped up off the damn slave ship. Ha! Now sit your ass right here and let me get up in your face and say what I need to say. This is what happens when you lie to people for 50 fucking years. Yeah. I'm born from the Moses tribe. I honestly do believe that because I said, Democratic Party, let my people go. For way too long, you motherfuckers, oh yeah, that's right, I'm born from the Bernie Mac tribe too. You motherfuckers been lying to us over and over and over and over again. We sick of it. This has been the dream of mine. Martin Luther King Jr. said that he had a dream that all the crooked roads would be laid straight. Yeah, we see through y'all bullshit. This race rhetoric bullshit that y'all been doing for years and years and years. Keeping us divided. No, we together now, God's people. This is what happens when God used y'all evil, badass self for good. Ha! That's God's plan, baby. And y'all can't do nothing to stop it. Because we said what we said. Ha! Ninjas for Trump. Not Cheeto Pop. Cheeto Pop 2024, ho!
So, you know, it took a minute. But we're finally getting to where we need to be. Here, I got another one. Let me see if I can show another one real quick. I got another one here.
What do you think about the indictments?
Oh, it's a bunch of bull. It's going around the country. You know, Fannie Willis, she went to school with my sister. She was full of shit. So she's a puppet for the white liberal that is controlling everything. She's in front, but the white liberal back there pulling those strings, telling her what to do. That's what I think about her, making a fool of herself.
Do you think it's going to help his election?
I'm here to support President Trump. You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them, so I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt, Niggas for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
What do you think about the indictments?
Oh, it's a bunch of bull. It's going around the country. You know, Fannie Willis, she went to school with my sister. She was full of shit. So she's a puppet for the white liberal that is controlling everything. She's in front, but the white liberal back there pulling those strings, telling her what to do. That's what I think about her, making a fool of herself.
Do you think it's going to help his election?
Of course it is. It's going to elevate him all the way. I think we should make Trump king. That's how I feel. We should make him king.
Wouldn't that be kind of like communistic?
No, that's nowhere near communist. Now, we're just going to make him king, but we still got our freedoms and rights and everything. He for that. Yeah, Trump for king 2024.
That's actually my URL. I own that URL.
You own that URL?
So, the tide is turning. The tide is turning. I got one more on this topic, and then we're gonna move on over and talk about it. But
Madeline Graham, she's the National Crime Victims Advocate and CEO of Rescue Angel, and Horace Cooper, author and legal commentator. Madeline, I want to get your reaction to what I just said, because you aren't a political pundit or commentator. You're someone who voted Democrat for most of your life. Tell us what you're seeing out there.
Thank you, Laura, so much for having me. That was a powerful segment that you just presented, and you summed it up, basically, you know, what the African-American community is experiencing. Myself, as a 40-year loyal Democrat, because that's what we were told that black people were supposed to vote, was Democrat, until I realized in 2020, after my son was killed, the way I was treated by the criminal justice system here in New York, and the justice that I did not receive for the murder of my son by Democratic District Attorney Alvin Bragg. And then I, like everyone else, all you have to do is just step out of your front door and you could see the dilapidated housing, the failing schools, the crime, the poverty, the runaway drug use, the abortion, the open, safe injection sites, all of that stuff. You don't have to go far. When you're from the hood, all you have to do is step outside your door. But we continue to give our votes away for nothing in return. So that's one of the primary reasons why I decided to vote for Trump in 2020. Then I officially changed my party affiliation to conservative because I have conservative values. I believe in God, nuclear family, and country, unapologetically. I was raised with those values. But because I'm black, I was told that that's what Democrats are supposed to vote.
And Madeline, what's your message now, before we get to Horace, what's your message now to Joe Biden?
Okay, I think we got a problem. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so they cut my feed. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but we're going to get back to it. And let me see if I can pick up where we left off.
We have not made it yet. We have the Al Sharptons of the world, who now is going to go in March. While the rest of us are at the bottom of the hill for 60 years, he seems to be the only one has made it to the mountaintop.
Horace, this is a powerful message from Madeline, and I think there are a lot of people across the country
Had some technical
who didn't
difficulty.
experience the just horrific tragedy that she did and received the treatment from Bragg that she believes she received. But do you see this as perhaps a turning point among some segment of the black community, given what's happened to this nation in 2.5 years?
Well, first, let me say this. Project 21 is nonpartisan. We're made up of conservatives and libertarians, a lot of Americans who share our views, like family, like hard work, and patriotism. I just had my most recent book out, How Biden's Policies Harm Blacks. It's put y'all back in chains. More and more black Americans are looking around and they are seeing that these policies, the Bidenomics vision,
Hey, Mama D.
hurts America, and it particularly hurts blacks. The main reason for that is The best advice anyone could give you: don't partner with a deadbeat dad. The Democrats, the progressives, have pushed a deadbeat dad. It's called Uncle Sam, big government, whatever you want to call it, the check. This deadbeat dad does not care about your child. In fact, this deadbeat dad will push you to abort your child. This deadbeat dad is going to see that you live in the most corrupt and dangerous community possible. This deadbeat dad doesn't put your interests first. It puts the green agenda first, the LGBTQ agenda first. Black Americans have found under Biden that their issues are going to the back of the political bus. And more black Americans realize the deadbeat dad is not the answer for them.
Madeline, Joe Biden spoke about the economy today, and again, they're selling this as the great reawakening of growth and prosperity. This is what he said.
Bidenomics is just another way of saying restoring the American dream. I'm proud of the historic laws my administration has passed. They're the right steps not only to get our economy moving again, but to build a future better than the past. I'm not trying to return to the past. I'm trying to build a better future than we had.
Okay. So, what I just did, I just showed 3 montage clips of how the tide, and you see the title, "We the People, America's Turning Point." So, with that being said, and this is just my opinion, in order for America to go the way it's supposed to go, we need everybody. And a great portion of that is the black community. The black community has been led astray for so many years and has fell victim to a system that has slowly entangled them into such a environment, physically and mentally, to where it was almost like they knew no other way. But like anything, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. And I believe with Joe Biden, blacks have realized that when it comes to trying to pursue something in America, they hit rock bottom. They have seen all type of opportunities being cut off from them. So it's an interesting point that some are talking about to the black community, about the black community. It's ironic and it's strange, but this is how, for whatever reason, this is how they rationalize things. They seen a man in Donald Trump being falsely done over time. They seen it. They knew. They have common sense. They know. They have a brain. But it wasn't until he literally and figuratively got locked up and mugshotted in Georgia. That in itself made him a martyr to the black community. Instantaneously. I've been following it. Instantaneously. Because, unfortunately, my people, a lot of them, they know what it's like to be falsely accused. But to the next extent to be locked up falsely, that kind of touched some folk. And it's funny because it seemed to have backfired. So see, like the one video I played, it seems like all of their bad is literally turning out for good for Donald Trump. Because let's remember, everything that they're doing to Donald Trump has to be done. Might sound crazy? No. Everything that they're doing to Donald Trump has to be done. See, because what they're doing is setting precedents. Because everything they're accusing him of and everything they've tried to prosecute him over, they're doing to the T. So there's no wiggle room for them to get out of, because they're going down that same avenue. They can't divert on appeal. No, because Donald Trump's standing is going to be on the same precedents in which they tried to do him in on it. You know, it's funny. I was doing a little bit of history. Just doing a little bit. And I went back as far as the Civil War. And then I just jumped up to the civil rights. But there were things in between. And there were people called the Buffalo Soldiers. What I found out throughout history, major things that happened in this country wasn't accomplished without the work and the efforts and help of black people. Yeah. Because it takes all of us, inclusively, to bring change. It really does. At least to bring any type of change that works for a long period of time. It takes all of us. Because if everybody's not involved in the change, eventually there's going to come a point when there are those who get tired, want to buck change, want to make a different change. So, can you just imagine? And some people say they really don't care. No, they care. The Democrats care about their black vote. Can you imagine what the Democrats feel like now, knowing that they have lost and are losing their hold that they had on the black community? Can you imagine that feeling? That then takes their desperation level a notch higher. Because that takes away a demographic that they can no longer count on. And for them to be able to see it and recognize it. See, there was a time they took it for granted. They assumed it was always there. But now to not just see that it's not there, but then to see it flip and go in the other direction as a whole. Can you imagine that feeling? So once again, Black America is going to, and has been called upon, basically, in my opinion, to be just the deciding factor in what is about to go down. I don't know if I have this. Let me see if I got this here. No, that's not going to work. I wanted to try and show. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we're going to move over to who some people call their president real quick. And we're going to get the latest update on what's been going on with Mr. Biden. And then I'm going to get some other stuff together. Let's just see what's been happening.
Member Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett joins me. Sir, it's not against the law for him to use pseudonyms. Is that correct for the vice president or president to use a pseudonym in an email?
From what I understand, there's no law that addresses it, but you have to question why in the world would you use a dadgum pseudonym? You're the vice president of the United States, unless you're trying to hide something. And of course, it's over the vice presidential server. So it's pretty evident of where it's coming from. I think it's a lapse of judgment completely, but it's an attempt to hide and misdirect. And I think something else, Greta, should be noted. If there are possibly other pseudonyms out there that he's used, those are the ones that we know of. So there could be more than 5,400 emails and documents out there.
Well, what struck me, and I've spent some time this afternoon trying to track it down, is that one of them, Robert L. Peters at PCI.gov. And I thought, what in the world is PCI.gov? So I Googled it a million times. Finally, I called I called Morgan Wright, who's an expert in this kind of thing. And I had my assistant call. And she asked, what is this PCI? And this is what PCI is. It's a highly restricted network that is to be used for combat support for war-fighting operations. What makes it unusual is that a vice president is not in the chain of command for Department of Defense and has no statutory authority. Why he has a PCI.gov account is highly problematic. Do you have any idea why he has that account?
No, ma'am, I don't. And that, again, is just a very weak attempt from them to hide whatever they're doing. You have to remember this president has lied multiple times about any contact with his son about the business. And we find out that he has actually spoke to the board members during a board meeting. And then after money was transferred to his son, that the then vice president had meetings with these folks. So 21 different LLCs created that sells no product, nothing other than access to the big guy. So we've got some real problems, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. That's why you're seeing, I think that's why he's been on vacation all month, and that's why you're seeing Democrats and the mainstream media is pulling off at least a little bit of their support.
Well, it is somewhat of a tradition for presidents to take off in August. I will say that. I mean, a lot of people, Congress is in recess. I mean, it's like, you know, I can't criticize them for that. I mean, everybody, I'm working, but a lot of you guys are not working. So I'm not going to criticize them for that. But, you know, whatever these are, I mean, there's so much smoke. You know, it may all be nothing, but the problem is that he's the only one who can sort of unravel it for us and tell us if there's nothing wrong. And so now we've got we've got something that's odd. And if there's nothing wrong with it, I sure wish the president or one of his representatives say this is why it was done this way and this is why he has a PCI.gov account.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it come out in the impeachment hearings that we're going to get into very quick. And I hope we don't delay and we don't orchestrate and we don't do like the January 6th hearings and have, you know, CBS come out and produce it for us and have walkout music. I hope we just present the facts to people. We can do it in 1 week and quit with all the showmanship, because we've got some other serious things. Let's be honest. This Justice Department is crooked as a dog's leg. They're not going to do anything to this bunch. They're going to let them go because they're part of this bunch. Most of them are Obama appointees, and we just didn't have enough sense to get rid of them when we were at the helm, and now they're running the show, and that's what you're seeing. It's just a continuation of this corruption. So I hope we get onto this, impeach him, goes to the Senate. I doubt it'll get the 60 votes, but let's hand it off to them and let's start dealing with the debt, because this country is about to go under.
So, this country is about to go under, but not so fast. Go ahead and let them start impeachment proceedings. That's all I really want to see, is impeachment proceedings to be started. There was a poll that came out last night. And for those who follow me, you know, I give and take on the poll thing. But the poll showed Donald Trump, after what took place in Georgia, being up 47% to 43% now over Joe Biden. It was 43-44 Joe Biden within 3% margin of error or whatever just a couple of weeks ago. And all of a sudden Trump 47 and Joe still stuck. Now down one more extra percentage point at 43 from 44. So what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. We the people. It's America's turning point. It's America's turning point, like I said in the title. It's America's turning point. You got chirpers flying, you got little chirpies flying around yesterday, saying that with everything that's going on in Florida, and this is just what I'm hearing, everything that's going on in Florida, it might be that DeSantis might be finally having a reason to bow out gracefully from this presidential pursuit. I mean, face it, he is still polling in single digits. His money running funny. So the smart thing to do for a smart man, in my opinion, would be to go ahead and save yourself some cash and hope that you can salvage a political career somewhere down the future. But someone who is catching attention. Now, I'm a Trumpster all the way. But you know me, I gotta give credit where credit is due, and I really wasn't giving Vivek Ramaswamy any type of credit, but I listened to him. See, you gotta listen sometimes. Sometimes you gotta be quiet, and you gotta listen, and that's what I did. And this is what I heard. And this is what I liked. Y'all check it out. Shout out to Jason Whitlock.
I like outsiders. I like RFK. I like Vivek. I like Trump. Everybody else, miss me. So it's great to have Vivek back. We'll also have Steve Kim, the Korean Cosell, on to talk a little sports after we talk to Vivek. Vivek, welcome back to the show. And I'm going to start with something I hope is lighthearted, but I just don't want this thing between you and Eminem to turn into Tupac and Biggie. Is that where we're headed?
You know, I just want the real Slim Shady to stand up, right? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Because I can't believe that he just said what he did, what I think he did, you know? So that's the reality, because Eminem, he's funny. I still like the guy, but he was the insurgent, man. He was the guy who stood up to the establishment when the FCC said, you know, let me be me. That was him, right? And now this is the guy who's saying that if somebody disagrees with my newfound political views, this irreverent guy who I looked up to growing up has now become part of sort of the new woke establishment. He has a different point of view on a new insurgent, but that's all right. You know, I still have high hopes that he's going to grow out of it and become the real Slim Shady again.
Well, for any of our audience that isn't aware, Vivek at a campaign event, I believe in Iowa, I think we have a clip. Vivek rapped "Lose Yourself." Let's play that clip.
Check my man out.
He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's joking now. Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. plow. Stand
All right, I've heard
proud.
enough. Vivek's not a very good rapper, but
Oh, come
so
on, you
I've
got the
heard
worst
enough.
part of that, man. You got you guys, that selective editing is just inappropriate. What I will say is this. What I will say is this:
let me frame the question. Let me frame the question. Hold for one. So I loved this, and there were people at the time. Oh, this is unpresidential, and I was like, nah, man, we're well past that. I just want Vivek to be authentic. And as a guy in his mid-30s, this is pretty authentic. I would imagine in high school, whenever Vivek was young, this was a popular song. This is authentic. Eminem filing a cease and desist seems over the top and stupid. He turned nothing into something, but I guess that's the price all these celebrities have to pay. They have to come out of, well, we're against Vivek. We're against anybody with an R next to their name. Now,
I think the reality is we can graduate from this culture, but it's going to take some people being fearless about it. All right, I think we have a culture of fear. And I'm looking at the name of your show, Fearless. I didn't even mean it that way, but I think that's the spirit we're going to need, where there's this culture of fear across the country, Jason. You know this well. There's what people will say in private and what people will say in public, and there's a gap. And if you want my question on this, you want to know what the best measure of the health of American democracy is? It's the percentage of people who feel free to say what they actually think in public. Right now, we're doing poorly. I think we can do better again, but it's just going to take all of us, including people like you, people like me, but people at home listening to this, all of us doing our part, standing up with a spine and speaking our minds openly. And the funny thing is, back when I was in my 20s, part of the reason I loved heterodox figures like Eminem is that that's what they did do. They stand up to the establishment. But at a certain point, you become part of the establishment. And even with the woke culture in America, I will say this, I never agreed with that type of ideology, but rewind 20 years ago, there's something about anyone who wants to be heterodox and stand up to the man that I'll respect, even if I disagree with you. But the part of the problem is what began as a challenge to the system became the new system, right? And so what I tell young people today is, now you want to be heterodox, you want to be countercultural, you want to be a hippie, you want to stick it and stand up to the man. Try calling yourself a conservative. Try saying you want to marry somebody of the opposite sex and have children and stay married and raise them and follow your faith in God and that you like the United States of America and you pledge allegiance to the flag. That is the new counterculture in the United States of America. And I know that might sound funny in one breath, but in another breath, it's actually true. And I think that is what the new insurgency of this country looks like. And that's my job as the youngest person ever to run for U.S. president in our party. I want to make faith and family and hard work and patriotism cool again, actually, because I think they are inherently cool. But not in some wrapper of, hey, we have to bring back and go back to the past. No. This is where we're going, right? We're running to something. We're not just running from something. This is where we're headed. And you want to call me a progressive for that? I'm fine with that. If we're making progress towards an actual positive vision, great, count me in. I am making progress and leading our conservative movement to be the party of progress towards something. And I think that that's part of what's allowed us to be so successful so far in this race, but we're just getting warmed up. I think that's what's going to allow us to succeed in reviving this nation between now and when I leave office in January 2033 after 2 terms. That's how we're actually going to do it.
Confident.
Vivek, you're probably the only, you're certainly the only presidential candidate that I feel like I can have an informed discussion about this next part of this Eminem thing that I'm going to bring up. And so I don't know if this conversation will help advance your political aspirations, but you're a smart guy. You like rap. You can rap all of Eminem's song, one of his most popular songs. So I have to ask you this. When I'm looking at this, when I looked at this, when he did the cease and desist and thought about it this morning, to me, it spoke to me like, man, rap music is dead. Rap music used to be the form of art and music that was anti-establishment and rebellious. You may not remember this, but like when Bill Clinton was running for office, there was a rapper, Sister Soldier, that rapped some things, and rap used to drive a lot of the political discussion. Now it's dead, and I had this thought this morning. I was like, and it's these country music guys. It's Oliver Anthony
Country boys
that's
took it
actually
over.
driving discussion and saying anti-establishment things, and it disappoints me. Like, what happened to rap music? It became that materialistic that there'll never be another Chuck D. There'll never be what Eminem or any of these guys used to be.
So Oliver Anthony's like the new Eminem. I mean, that's the reality, right?
Enemies.
You stand up to a new establishment, and and you know, so there's a disappointing side to that, Jason, but there's also a heartening side to that. You know what? That's cool. That's just the way it looks, right? Because back in the 90s, what you would say is, oh, I'm disappointed with the music establishment that has just decided they want to silence anybody who's defecting from the orthodoxy. And there comes Eminem. And he breaks right through saying, in his choice words, which I'm not going to repeat, you know, screw you guys. I'm going to do this anyway, my way. And you're not going to shut me up. And you know what? You're going to do it till I collapse, which happened to be one of his better songs. And so, you know what? That cycle repeats itself. And so it's not that Marshall Mathers III is the same individual he was. It's the symbol of what the OG version of it actually was that's now being channeled in the form of the next generation, even if that's not him. That's what's more important. So it's not a personal thing. It's a question of how do you actually stand up to the prevailing system? Creative destruction. In some ways, that's so American, right? That is the American quality. Think about our founding fathers, right? These guys were the pioneers. They were the explorers, the daring, the people who said, no, you are not going to stop me from doing whatever I feel like doing because I'm a free man, and it's not going to be some autocrat sitting across on some throne halfway across the world or an ocean that tells me how I live my life. And today, if that's a 3-letter government agency, then so be it the same way. You know, the funny story is, like, so I'm sitting on a swivel chair right now, okay? Funny story about the swivel chair. Thomas Jefferson invented it. He invented it while he was writing the Declaration of Independence. People say I'm too young to be president. I'm 38. He was 33 when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. Notebook like this one, I carry it around with me too, but he's writing the Declaration of Independence and decides that the still chair's cramping his thigh. He says, I feel like I need to move. He thinks about it. He just invents the swivel chair. What do we say today? You say, no, you can't do that. You're not an expert. You didn't go to 4-year college training to be an engineer. You can't do that. You didn't file a patent on it. That's the world we live in today. Whereas you think about the actual spirit of this country. No, Thomas Jefferson was the real Slim Shady in a certain sense, in the spirit of saying that, you know what? I'm going to declare independence from this foreign autocrat. And if I feel like inventing the swivel chair, darn right I'm going to do it. And Benjamin Franklin, you want to co-sign this thing? And Benjamin Franklin's like, yeah, you know what? I also invented the bifocal spectacles and the Franklin stove. And yeah, the common cold, it kind of sucks. And so here's a remedy I made for it. But are you a doctor? Are you Dr. Fauci approved? No, we don't have that conversation back in 1776. And so what am I doing right now? I'm bringing back 1776 in this country. Whatever was in the water then, we're putting that in the water now, and we're about to gulp that down in the United States of America. Take a swig, have at it, and say that, you know what? Nobody's going to stop me from speaking the truth, doing it without apology, stopping at no frontier. The United States of America is the nation of pioneers. That's who we are. That's why I liked Eminem version 1.0, but if Marshall Mathers doesn't like it now, that's fine. Let's move on to the next guy. That's part of what the actual model of the Phoenix in this country looks like.
I'm not raising this up because you've taken me in a different direction, so I'm not raising this up as a gotcha, but I do want to give you the opportunity to respond to people that like, they've dug up a clip of you, I think when you were 18, and you asked Al Sharpton if hey, you're too inexperienced, why should I vote for you, or something along those lines. We had the clip, but I'm not going to play it. I just want to hear you. Is what's happened over the course of the last 20 years where maybe you've adjusted your opinion on that, or times have changed and you would have a totally different take than you had back then?
Yeah, so I was a freshman at Harvard, 18 years old. And one of the things that you're in those environments, they're very structured, right? There's certain things that you're allowed to say, certain ways you're supposed to think. And so here's a guy who I thought was kind of interesting. They brought every presidential candidate, John Kerry, and then John Edwards, and then the next guy, who are these professional, practiced politicians. And, say what you will about Al Sharpton. And, I don't agree with most of what comes out of that man's mouth, for sure. But he wasn't that, right? He was a reverend. He was a reverend who was irreverent, it seemed to me. And so I said, hey, well, I'm sitting here at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard College as a freshman who's gone through every step coming in. So I said, well, why should you be the next president if you don't have experience in politics? And honestly, it might be the most sensible thing that I've heard Al Sharpton say, which is just because somebody has a job at the Cambridge bureaucracy down the street doesn't mean they have experience.
That's right.
I have experience talking to people, knowing people in this country. And I remember thinking at 18, I was like, guy has a point. He's not right about most things. But there was some element of truth in that, to say that, why not John Edwards or John Kerry? Well, it doesn't mean Al Sharpton's the right guy, but he said just because those guys are stuffed suits coming from an existing establishment, that doesn't qualify them to be the next president. And then I listened, Jason, to some of those other people on the debate stage last week saying, well, we don't want a rookie. We need somebody who has experience, a steady hand. The same people that lied to us about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and engineered the 2008 bailouts after the financial crisis and fed us the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. Yes, those are the people that have the experience that we need to put back in charge to do it again. I think the way I look at it now is 20 years in. I mean, the generation I grew up into was a government that has repeatedly lied to the people, from everything from COVID-19's origin to the Hunter Biden laptop to now we're spending our money in Ukraine. If somebody keeps crashing your car, maybe it's time not to turn over the keys to the same set of people. Maybe it's time for a new generation to drive the key take the key and drive the car in a direction of actually running to something, to an actual vision for what this country stands for. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And you know what? Part of what got me to where I am is the journey and set of experiences that I've had outside of government. And I think that's what's going to make me the most successful person.
Well, Vivi, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, bruh. Because this ain't just about my guy Trump. There's going to come a time we got to think past Trump. And what lies ahead in the future for this country. And that young man right there, Vivek Ramaswamy, bruh, this is my opinion. Don't learn from DeSantis' mistakes. Learn from the DeSantis mistakes, because I like you, Vivek, but you're saying all the right things, you're moving the right ways, and like Jason Whitlock just pointed out, you're basically running on a Trump platform. That's what you're doing, and you're using the Trump blueprint. And I don't blame you, young man. I don't blame you. But as smart as you are, you should know there's no way in hell that you're ready for the big leagues. You're not dealing with Putin. You're not dealing with Xi. You're not, the closest one you might have relationships with is a young boy over there in North Korea, because y'all about the same age, and y'all might have some things that gravitate y'all together that more than that puts y'all apart. But the main thing that everybody that's running, and I put the Republicans in the same basket as the Democrats when it comes to this, you all claim to be running for the love of your country. Republicans, the ones that are running, y'all are all so quick to point out everything that's been done wrong. No, I can't use those words. Y'all are quick to point out everything wrong that the establishment is doing. And everything that they're doing to Donald Trump, but y'all are trying to approach it in a hands-off way. And that's not good enough. Vivek, if you really want to show Americans that you care about America and the values of Americans and you care about their freedoms and their rights, brother, the first thing you have to do, because with everything comes sacrifice. You can't worry about running for president when you're not focused on helping defend a man who is being justly undone by the system that you want to represent. There's going to be time for you to do that. Don't any of y'all think you would gain the respect of America more if you just put your gloves down and said, you know what? This ain't right. We're running against a handicapped man. We're running against somebody that's fighting with both arms tied behind his back. We can't take advantage when we are claiming to be for the same thing. No, that time will come, but right now we have to stand with our brother, wrong, right, or indifferent, handle business, and then we can get back to business as usual. But they continually continue to circle like vultures, opportunists, looking for that chance, looking for that one window of opportunity. That's why to this day Trump still stays where he stays. That's why. But enough of that. Enough of that. We're going to end this off with something good. Y'all heard of Stella Got Her Groove Back? Y'all remember the movie Stella Got Her Groove Back? Well, there's a young woman, and I'm so proud of her. Just like I'm proud of all the representatives, the state representatives who are boldly standing up to all the corruption that's going out there. Shouts out to them. Y'all keep doing a good job. But Stella Weaver, congrats. This young lady, let me show you. I'll let them explain it. They can explain it better, and then we'll talk about it. Let me get it in here.
You guys heard of Stella and the Fellas? Now we have. Now you have. It's not a band playing the summer festival circuit, but rather a baseball team, a very good one, making noise at the Little League World Series. And Stella is Stella Weaver, and she's making a little bit of history.
Our first look at Stella Weaver, the right fielder who has been an outstanding player for this Nolensville, Tennessee team.
It was a big day in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for Stella Weaver.
Stella has been a huge part of their story.
The 12-year-old from Tennessee, just the 22nd girl to play in the Little League World Series in its 76-year history.
This one to right field.
The Nolensville Little Leaguers,
Stella Weaver,
better known as Stella and the Fellas,
They're Stella and the Fellas.
starting off their tournament with a big 8-1 win in the Southeast region.
Look out for Stella and the Fellas, looking pretty good in this one,
very good. 8-1 is our final.
Stella had over 100 family members in the crowd cheering her on.
I saw all my family, like 150 of my family came down to watch me. It was just really fun seeing all the people and just stepping on that field and winning.
And she filled up the box score, beating out the throw here to make her the 10th girl in Little League World Series history to get a hit.
Weaver is being waved.
Later, she hustled from second base all the way home to score a run, sliding through the plate and clapping her hands in triumph.
It felt amazing. This has been like my dream for so many years now, and just stepping on that field just felt so good.
Weaver's wheels the difference.
Stella's got some swag and some skills.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Go
Little League World
Stella.
Series, one of the highlights of the summer, and
where am I at? Okay. So, shout out to Stella Weaver, Tennessee native, and I love seeing that. Now that's impressive. That's impressive. Not the other way around. Not the other way around. There's nothing impressive about a guy going into a female sport and taking on females. There's nothing impressive about that, at least to me. You want to impress me? You bring me a female like Stella Weaver and let me see her get in there with the big boys. Well, you know what I mean. Get in there with the little boys and dominate. See, I like seeing that transgender. I like seeing that there. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I know we had it. I'm going to see how this turns out. I'll be going back to re-watch and re-air and whatever else they did. But yeah, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. So us podcasters and those who are on the airways, we got to expect to deal with a lot of turmoil. I see I got 0 eyeballs up for the whole show, and that's not usual. Okay, peace and love. This is your man from the lab. Deuces. I'm out. Until next time, in between time.